Hi, everybody. I'm super excited today to be talking to Pam Slim, who's a very famous and accomplished author and business consultant, and she just wrote Body of Work. And I love this book. Like, if I wish I'd had this 5 or even 6 years ago when I started to write my own piece of work. It's really encouraging, and it's everything that is Pam Slim, where it's super informative, but totally in the spirit of Pam, that's very transparent and very open, and it's just a lovely piece. And I thank you for coming and talking on my blog for a bit, and congratulations on this new book.
Thank you so much, Nancy. I'm totally delighted to be here, knowing that story was a thread through my book, which is the subtitle of the book. I absolutely appreciate being with you.
Finding the thread that ties your story together.
Yes.
So it is interesting. I love this. So where did you get the idea to do this book?
The book really came from spending a lot of time as a career coach. I've done it for over 20 years in just about every work mode you could imagine. So first I was a consultant to corporations for about 10 years, a lot in Silicon Valley. And then the last 8 years, I've been at Escape from Cubicle Nation, which, as the name says, I've been helping a lot of corporate folks leave to start a business. And what I found in recent years, especially in the last year, is that after the economic meltdown that we had, where every kind of industry, I think, has been falling apart and reinventing itself, a lot of the frameworks that we use when we talk about career development and business development and personal branding really felt like it was based on the old way that things used to be. And so much of the way we looked at it was how it was for our parents or how it used to be even 5 years ago. And I felt like we needed to have a book and a framework that really focused on the world as it is today, which I feel like is inherently unstable. And I wanted to create something that would relate to both folks in corporate jobs as well as entrepreneurs.
I think it was interesting because as I was reading it, I was thinking, oh my gosh, everybody today has to have a body of work. It's almost like a calling card now, which was so interesting to me. And yet, it's interesting because so many people think work is evil or corporations are evil and they don't want to work for them. And in reality, you almost need to be doing both, creating, maybe doing your real job as you create the body of work that'll launch you into what maybe you were born to do.
And it's not to say for some people that they weren't born to work in corporations. I know in a lot of the startup world, I'm a big Star Wars fan, so we call it the light and dark side of the force, right? That working for somebody else is evil. When we look at the ecosystem as an economy, as a society, people like to work in different work modes. And I think when we make those kinds of distinctions, it's not helpful to anybody. The key for us as individuals is finding the work mode that makes sense. But you're right. When you think of how do you find out anything about anyone, if you're wanting to hire a plumber or somebody to work in your firm, you're going to go to Google, and whatever kind of results, content pops up is the story that you believe.
Yeah, it's kind of freaky. And you do refer in the book to this new world of work. And I wanted you to describe what that is, because I think that the comments you just made kind of lead into that.
Yeah. The way I define new world of work is it's definitely post 2008 economic crash. So it felt to me like we had a worldwide reverberation of terror and fear that hit every industry. It just seemed to be unprecedented. And I've been on the human side of business for over 20 years, and I've seen a lot. But it feels like as a global economy and society, we really realize that no industry is sacred, no economy is stable, that instability is really the new norm, as much as I wish that it weren't. Yeah. So that is one side that I feel is just part of our economic reality. On the other side, which is a lot more positive, which is what I see in the entrepreneurial startup world, is we now have resources and tools unlike any generation ever before, where people are able to start businesses literally from their kitchen table. We can be serving new markets. We can be serving them in interesting ways. So we have this combination of amazing free resources or low-cost tools compared with lots of instability. And it just means that we have to find a new way of working.
That's amazing. I think that the work you do, as I've gotten to know you over the years, as you've connected people with their purpose and giving them meaning in their lives, it's actually really cool to see this piece of work come out because you've lived it. So it's not like you researched something and wanted to write about it. This has really come from your heart and from bringing a lot of purpose to other people, which is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it is, it's one of the neat things. If I were a doctor, it would be like reporting on all these different
Yeah.
cases that I spent of being in the hospital room when I've had thousands of conversations with people about their careers and the heart to heart, like you talked about, not ones that are carefully crafted in front of a group of people, but people that are really sitting back and saying, what do I want to do with my life? And one of the things I think about being a business coach, which keeps me honest, is that when people do invest money in hiring somebody to help them with their work, I can't just spout a bunch of nonsense. I mean, the implications of my advice are very real, and I take my job really seriously. So it's been a joy to watch that and also to be able to share some of the stories in the book.
Well, what changed you? I know when I write something, even if it is research-based, whatever it is, it changes me. And then you put this body of work out there, and you're changed yourself. So what were your big insights or ahas or moments of transformation as you were putting this book together?
Yeah, I think one of them was definitely about looking at my own work and just getting excited, really, in embracing the idea as much as I already have in my own career about being passionate about creating new things. I feel like it's really expanded the possibilities for me personally. And I've worked in just about every work mode you can imagine. Being carefully branded as an Escape from Cubicle Nation coach, you can imagine that would be limiting for some people from corporate that may want to work with me when in fact I'm not anti-corporate. So I feel like I have this much more broad playing field in which to do a lot of interesting projects. The other thing, which because you know about the book, is that there's a lot of the personal story about my dad that's really a running theme in the book.
Love
Yeah.
stories about your dad.
And my dad's this 79-year-old, absolutely progressive, interesting, creative guy who, as I had conversations with him and researched the book, I realized that he's actually been acting on these new rules for his entire life. And I really got to know him a different way. And I feel so proud to have really shared his story in a book, because that's something that's going to be part of my personal legacy and his personal legacy.
That's so cool. I just love your voice when you write, because there'll be this amazing revelation, and then, and my kids were sitting around the breakfast table, and it's just really sweet. I love how you do it. So I want to talk a little bit about storytelling, because that's a big, part of my life. So why do you think entrepreneurs should really work on their storytelling?
Boy, this is something that got me so excited, and also has made me realize even more why mastering the art of storytelling is something that is a universal skill. I've looked at it in the context that you've talked about for companies and people, that are doing presentations about products or services. But a great entrepreneur, in order to put forth a very compelling argument as to why somebody should buy their products and services, in order to really create an amazing, engaged online social media presence, it's based on storytelling, not in just crafting, amazing presentations and stories, but in actually also being aware about what kinds of details do you share about your personal and your professional life. How can you realize that everything that you share, including on social media, does become a story, whether you think about it or not? And as you can tell, the way that I wrote the book is authentic to me, in that I don't have a lot of separation between my personal and professional life. I mean, they're private things, of course, but I love sharing things about my kids and my experience as a mom. I am very conscious, though, that everything I say in a public forum is something that does communicate about who I am and my personal brand. So I think, and when we look just at the corporate career track, people's ability to tell a compelling story about their career, because people are going to be shifting jobs a lot more, becomes critical. Yeah. Absolutely critical. It can't just be based on how many years you were in a certain position or what kind of academic background you have. Almost everybody is going to come from a somewhat unique, not always perfect kind of background. So you have to be able to tell a good story.
Yeah, and if you don't tell it, they'll fill in the gaps themselves and make it up.
Yeah, that's it.
I just love talking to you, and I love watching how much meaning you bring, how much meaning you've brought to my own life, just getting to know you. You're such a generous soul. And so I think everyone should get this book. And tell us how people can get a hold of you, or where to find more information about you and your book and all that stuff.
Definitely. Well, the best place to go is PamelaSlim.com /body of work. So there you can see a trailer for the book and contact information. I'm also on Twitter a lot, so I love it when people holler. I'm just at Pam Slim. And you can Google me. That's the other thing. You can Google me and you can find out more than you ever wanted to know.
Yeah, that's a good tip. Thank you, Pam, so much, and for putting your heart into this. I know it was a big labor of love. It's hard to, be a mom and have a job and write a piece of work. But you know what? Because you could do it, all of us can do it. So I'm really proud of you and super pleased with this book, and you should be too.
Thank you so much, Nancy. I totally appreciate it.
Yeah. See you later.
See you later.
Bye-bye.